What's up, everyone, and welcome to a Bitcoin and Ethereum market update. So in this video, we're going to look through Bitcoin, Ethereum, the trade setups that I took on those, as well as the potential setups that I'm looking for in the coming days. So starting off on the weekly time frame here for Bitcoin, we can see that we have this support level down here that I've been talking about in the past videos. That's the main support level for the bulls if we end up getting down there. You can see as soon as this weekly candle opened, though, we have started to trade up from there. On the RSI, if we look, we actually could be forming a hidden bullish divergence on the RSI, because you can see this low, if this ends up being a low, if we break the high of this candle in the next couple weeks, that will make this a hidden bullish divergence. That's because on the RSI we'll be printing a lower low, but on the actual price we'll be printing a higher low in comparison to this one. So that would show us that there is strength on this push up. And so that is something to watch. To do that on the daily time frame, we'll have to push this daily trend back into the bull's favor with a lower high somewhere and then a higher high above this area right here. Now, on the daily time frame, the levels to watch here, we're currently running into the resistance level that we initially touched here and rejected off of. So the bulls will need to push through this level and then come back down and retest this level most likely for support, and then go up from there. I'll be looking probably for something like this where we go through it, we close a couple, maybe like 2 days above this level, then we come back down, we test this level, and then we go up for new highs. That would be an optimal trade for me. I would enter on a retest of that if we got 2 daily closes above this. We'll have to see if we end up getting that. We're currently running into resistance. This blue level held once again for the second time here. We have our first test here, pushed up, second test here. We closed below it here, but then the next candle we close right back above it, so it's still held, and now we're going up from here. Now, if we go down on the 12-hour time frame, here is what we're seeing. We are starting to try and change the trend on the 12-hour time frame here with a low, high, higher low, and then higher high. So this closes in 20 minutes. That's very convincing for the bulls if we close right around the level that we're at, for continuation to the upside, as that will be shift the momentum into the bull's favor. If we get the next subsequent 12-hour candle after this white one here to close above this high, that will establish this level as support, and I will look to long that level on a retest if we get that. First things first, though, we need 20 minutes from now for this to close above this high, and then the next subsequent candle to close above that as well. We are currently running into this level right here, which is actually a resistance level, as well as the gray level, this 12-hour level that's confluent with that daily block that we talked about. But the 8-hour, this yellow zone is really the zone that we're currently running into, because we had this consolidation period here and then this breakdown. And you can see we tested it once here and pushed through it. So the second test, it is weaker. The resistance level is weakening as we push through into it on this second attempt. But that is the level currently right now that we're watching. And if we look on the 4-hour time frame, this is a trade that I was talking about, I think 2 days ago. So we had this consolidation zone here, and then this fresh breakdown. But when we traded into this level, it should have acted as resistance right around here. But instead what we did was we traded right through it, closed above it here, and then closed above it here again. So then we kind of consolidated around here, and then we tested it, and then this would be the entry point right here on the top of this gray zone. And then the stop loss would be down here right around 46,315. That trade has since played out perfectly, going up about 9% since. So that was kind of the trade there. The next kind of level that I'm looking at for Bitcoin would be the higher time frame plays. So if we end up getting the, for instance, the 12-hour close above this high, and then we get another 12-hour close above this high, then what I will be looking for will be a long of this level right here, which is right around 49,700. So that will be the zone that I will be looking to long, as this was initially resistance, but it should be support if we retest it after 2 candle closes above. So that's kind of the area of Bitcoin. Bitcoin really needs to get above this gray zone. This is kind of the zone that really matters the most. If we look above that on some of these high time frames, 8 hour, there's really not much here in terms of resistance until we get all the way up here to about 57,000. And then in terms of the 6 hour time frame, 6 hour time frame, pretty similar. 6 hour time frame, it's running into this level right here. So this is the second test of this level. Yeah, I believe it's 51,504, and yes, we did not touch it. So this is the second test of this level right here. So this is a pretty stiff level for the bulls. I'm sorry, for the bears. And so the bulls will have their hands full pushing above this gray zone. And then if they can push above the gray zone and close above on like the daily time frame, that's pretty convincing. And in my opinion, then if we retest that level, that'll be a good spot to long and target new all-time highs. So those are the kind of levels that I'm looking at right now. On Bitcoin, the 12-hour time frame is really the main level that we're watching here. 15 minutes until we close. Hopefully this candle will close above this high for the bulls. If you're a bull, if you're a bear, then you're looking for this to close probably not this candle, but the next candle to close below this low, so then it doesn't confirm the trend change. And then we'll go down for new lows if you're a bear. Let's jump over to Ethereum and look at what we have here. So if we start out on the weekly time frame for Ethereum, we have our Ichimoku cloud, which is in the most bullish position that it can be. This is with the Tenkin above the Kijun and the cloud green and price above both the Tenkin and the Kijun. Now you can see last week we had this above average increase in bear volume and this significant drawdown in the RSI. But once again here, this could be printing a hidden bullish divergence if the bulls can end up pushing above this previous high up here around 1937, because you can see that we have down here is our previous low right here in December, and we haven't had another low since just now, and this isn't established until we break the high of this candle. But if we do, you can see the RSI is far lower than it was back here in December when it was at 81.66, and now it's down at 64.52. So that would be a very large hidden bullish divergence, which would push the price to new highs. The bulls will have to end up really pushing this price above a significant amount of resistance, in my opinion, and we'll have to go up about 21% from the current price to do that. So let's look at the 2-day time frame here for a little bit of clarity. On the 2-day time frame, the level that I'm currently watching and a level that I will be looking to short is this zone right here. So you can see that we had our low, high, higher low, higher high right here, higher low, higher high again, but then we pushed right through it. This zone should have acted as support because we kind of formed a little resistance here when we traded up into this range and traded down, but instead we just pushed right through that. And so now if we retest this zone, this is going to be the couple areas that I'll be looking to enter. The first one is right there at the bottom of that wick, and the second one is the stronger one, which is up at the candle body up here around 1780 on this exchange. So if we end up getting into these levels, I will be targeting my stop loss will be above that zone, and then I'll be targeting down somewhere around probably here at the least, which is kind of this flat SR flip zone here. So that's a pretty good setup there. In my opinion, it's good enough for me to take it. Oops. It's about a 2.46 risk to reward. So that's within my range, and usually levels like this usually hold on the first attempt. And I'm also kind of looking for Bitcoin to kind of consolidate for a little bit of time here. So this would be confluent with that. But if we go down to the lower term time frame, this is also a daily level here that we did bounce off of and then go through. So this would be support resistance flip zone for Ethereum. There is some volume within this zone. If we look on the VPVR indicator, we can see right around this level there's a pretty significant amount of volume, far more than there is, well, not far more, but a little bit more than there is down here. If we go down to the 12-hour time frame, it's looking very similar to Bitcoin in this regard. We have our low, high, higher low, and now we're trying to form a higher high and close above the previous high. Now, for Ethereum is currently running into a couple things. Really, on the 8-hour time frame, if we look, it's running into this level right here. This level initially pushed us down on the 8-hour time frame right here, and we rejected off of that. We're now going up to test this for a second time, and the bulls will need to close above this gray zone. That is the primary level that the bulls will need to close above. But one of the trades that I took here on ETH that is worth mentioning is this level right here, very similar to what we saw on Bitcoin, where we had a consolidation zone, a breakdown, and then we pushed right through that level without respecting it as resistance at all, and then we retested that as support. So the entry is actually the body of the candle right here. So that trade is already up about 12% from entry. So that was a pretty good trade. I like to take trades like this that are on the higher time frames like this, where you're seeing a level that should hold as resistance or support, but traded right through that level. Because then when it goes into that level again, it should hold as support if it's on this side of the trade, or if it was on the resistance side, it should hold as resistance. So for Ethereum, the major resistance level is that 2-day block. I'm not going to be really bullish on ETH until we get through that entire block and close above that. So that is, I'm going to be looking for initially for us to reject off of this level at least once before going into it. I think we'll get one test of it at least, and then come down and then go through it if the bulls are going to try and make if the bulls are going to try and make a run there. But on the lower term time frames, the current opportunities that I'm looking at include this one on the 6-hour time frame, which is attempting to close right above this high right here at 1594.07. If we do end up closing that candle above that, and the next subsequent 6-hour candle, that will turn this area right here into a support zone, and I potentially will look to long that into this 2-day level. So I don't know. Let's see what the risk reward is on that. It's pretty tight stop loss, so we might still be able to get something out of it. Yeah. So even if we just traded to the bottom of that 2-day level, that would be a 2.48 risk reward. So that would still be pretty good. Although we're getting pretty close to touching that level already. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a 6-hour close that somehow doesn't touch this level, but also still closes above this high. If we do, then I will look to long that zone into the 2-day block there. On the 8-hour time frame, we're looking to do the same thing that Bitcoin is trying to do, which is form that bullish trend we need, which is a low, high, higher low, and higher high. And so if we look at the Ichimoku cloud just for a little bit of clarity, you can see that we're kind of in the middle of the cloud, which is usually, if you're a cloud trader, it's pretty much a no trade zone. If we go to the 12-hour, we're just starting to try and break above the cloud, but you can see that right now the Tenkan is below the Kijun, which is bearish, and so that's that level is also, the Kijun is confluent with this 2-day gray zone here. You can see if we go into that level, that would be resistance there. On the daily time frame, we're not in a bad position in terms of the Ichimoku cloud, so that's good news for the bulls. We touched into the daily Kijun here, and now we're pushing above once again. So the bulls still have a chance of, like, in my opinion, it's pretty likely that the ETH bulls, if they push into this level or even up to here, like really anywhere in between these two green lines, that they'll be able to form a higher low, above this low. And the reason for that is because they've pushed so far. Even if they just pushed to right here, that's 28%. So they could come down and form a higher low, somewhere around here, and or even down here, and they would still be above this low, and then they would have their opportunity to try and push through this level on a retest and get a higher high. So that would look something like this, where we have our push into it, a rejection, a higher low somewhere below, somewhere above this low here, and then a push through this zone. And that would be confirmed bullish trend. And so this will be something that I'm going to be watching over the next couple few days. But really, Bitcoin is going to be the main driver for everything. And so this is what I'm mainly watching is Bitcoin on this 12-hour time frame. This is my primary, the primary kind of thing to watch for me right now, because if we can change this trend to bullish on the 12-hour time frame for Bitcoin, it's pretty likely, in my opinion, that we'll end up going and pushing through this gray zone, and then up here, if we look at the VPVR, there's not much volume up here. Once we get past this gray zone, which is, you can see, has a decent amount of volume that we're running into, this area has a significant amount of support though. So that's why if we can close the 12-hour, the next 12-hour after this, above this high, it looks like we're going to close this one above it, then this zone right here, that candle, is going to be a good area to look to enter into a long position. I will look to enter into a long position. Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. I hope you guys liked this video and it gave you some clarity on the current price action for Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you like this video, give us a like, comment down below, and subscribe to receive future updates on when we release some of these videos. And I will see you guys later.